Hi, I'm Kenneth WAJDA. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado, and thanks again for tuning in and watching another one of my inspiring photography talks. Today I want to talk about still lifes. Well, I think that's what I would call them. So sometimes when I go into antique stores, I'll carry my camera and I'll look for displays of things for sale that look like they're storytelling displays. Things that I'm not going to buy all those items, but to see them and to have a document that shows them. To me, that's also like kind of an important thing to document because it shows what is important that has lasted the test of time. What is 50 or 60 years old that is being sold today that still has value? And then it made me think, my ponder was, if I could make a booth inside that antique store of things that are made today that will be there in 50 years because they will be looked at with nostalgic eyes and because of their build quality, and they will be there and they will be available and people in 50 years will be buying those. I'm having a hard time coming up with very much I would put in there. The cheap furniture sold at department stores isn't going to last 5 years, let alone 50 to make it to there. The cameras we're making now are all computers. The computers, the iPads, they're all completely obsolete in 5 or 10 years. And I can't imagine anybody looking to buy those, just like an 8-track player from the 60s or 70s isn't really all that much in demand even at the antique stores now. But you see like old wooden boxes and old baskets and old bicycles and old, I don't know, mechanical things that have structure and they're built so well to last. There's also magazines. So at this last road trip I took, I stopped at an antique mall, and I'll put some of the photos in the comments below, and you'll see some of the photographs of some of the magazines that I don't need to own, but they tell a story of what were people thinking in 1945 or 1955. And one of them, I think, is a Look magazine, and it has a picture of maybe Truman on the cover, and it has a little byline that says the Negro problem. And it's like, what have we, what were we back then when we were, having problems with racial tension and we didn't have civil rights, we were not really an equal nation, and then nowadays, what have we become in all that time? And there's a good example. What do the magazines, I guess now, those might be in 50 years, you might put the magazines from today into that booth because they'll have the news of the day. People will see the characters of politics on the covers today, and in 50 years, it'll be kind of novel to see. Maybe we'll be looking at Trump and wondering, what in the world were we thinking? But politics aside, the idea of what is it that we're creating right now that is strong enough to last 50 years, that future booth. I think of time travel so much with photography and with capturing moments and then going back to antique stores, and it's all so much about time travel for me. And to go back in time, if we're in 2066, looking at a booth that is items from today, I just don't know that there's that much being made that feels like it's quality, like, are Domke bags going to be in there? Are Billingham bags going to be in there? I don't know. I don't think any of that. I don't think a Leica M9 is going to be a value like an M3 is today. I don't think that an M8 or a M240 are going to be nearly as valuable as those old film cameras because they're mechanical and they still work. And what will computers have evolved to, and what will cameras have evolved to that those will be deemed obsolete long before then, if not already? But I think that there is an interesting thing about taking photographs. So take your camera into the antique shops if you can. Photograph people being, displaying the things that we have say a lot about us. I've talked about this before. The things that we have say a lot about us. And the things that we have define us more than what we can say about ourselves. And it's an interesting thing to think about the items that we're making nowadays. And maybe because of the digital culture, we aren't making physical very well. We're not making physical items that are of great build quality. We're making things that disappear. We're making things that don't really tangentially exist. Is that the right word? And what we have is a lot of, you know, computers and digital and technology that really there's no reason to keep it, and it won't be there in 50 years, or maybe it will. Put your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you're thinking we should put into that booth. And if you're enjoying these talks, hit the subscribe button and I'll bring you more. Thanks so much for watching. That's today's talk.